Yeah. Shalom, family. Y'all Bashim Yashar Brakathon, all my brothers. Y'all Shema Athon, Bashim Yashar to all my sisters. Tonight it is Tuesday. Tonight is the Brotherhood class. This is Isupk, the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant Junior Hunter. I am Priest and Officer of 500, Hadar Amath, and we are in the building. All right? Most High in Christ. So who we got on the conference call tonight? Hey, in the building, absolutely. To hear from you. Good to hear from you, brother. Good to hear from you. All right. So tonight's title of class is what's in a name? What is in a name? Your reputation is at stake. Your reputation is at stake, all right? And I especially want to bring this out because we as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians need to understand that we need to have a good name. We need to have a good name in this earth. We need to have a good name amongst our own community. And especially we need to have a good name towards the Most High, for the Most High, okay? Essentially, we not having a good name has put us in the situation that we are in right now. Not having a good name essentially has put us into captivity. Not having a good reputation is what has kept us in oppression, all right? That's what has kept us in oppression, and it will continue to keep us in this oppression as long as we have this bad name, all right? But we're gonna talk about tonight as far as turning back to the Most High, following these scriptures, and understanding that we can get our good name back, and we must have it back in order for Christ to come back and reign on this earth and bring His kingdom. All right. So now let's start off with a definition. You know, I love words. I love definitions. Let's have the definition of reputation. Let's get the definition of reputation, please. The definition of reputation. Does anybody have it? No sweat. You got it, bro? Okay, go ahead, Marshall.
Reputation.dictionary.com is the one says the estimation in which a person or thing is held, especially by the community or the public generally. Number 2 says favorable repute, good name. 3 says a favorable and publicly recognized name or standing for merit, achievement, reliability, etc.
Absolutely, that's exactly what I have, and I'll read it for you just for the edification of the class. Definition of reputation: the estimation in which a person or thing is held, especially by the community or the public generally. A favorable or publicly recognized name or standing merit, achievement, and reliability. Okay. Now, seeing this definition here, and understanding how important it is to have a reputation. Okay. Like for instance, when you hear commercials about businesses who advertise themselves, they're advertising themselves for a good name. All right. And with that good name, they have to uphold that reputation. All right. For instance, if Coke tells you that they have the best product, the best soda in the business, they have to uphold that. They have to do everything in their power to keep that going. Okay. Just think about that. Think about how businesses want to keep their name in the limelight. They want to keep their name relevant. All right. And even not in a business sense, but if you want to call it a residential sense. All right. If you have somebody in your neighborhood with a certain name, a certain reputation, The old school would have that old school would have that mechanic that would have a good name. You know that you could go to Cecil, if you will. You go to Jose, all right. Give him a couple of beers, a couple of dollars, and he can fix anything on your car. He can fix anything in your house, cut your grass and everything like that. But he has a good name, and he upholds that, all right. And Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, we have to understand that we need to have a good name as well, all right. Let's see about the word. Let's see about what the Bible has to say about a good name. We can talk more about having a good reputation. All right. Let's go to the book of Proverbs. Let's go to a book of Proverbs, one of my favorite books. Proverbs 22:1. Let's start there.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 1. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches.
All right. A good name is rather to be chose than great riches. Okay. So now let's bring this down to you want to say an earthly sense. A good name is rather be chosen than great riches. All right. Unfortunately, we have a lot of people on this earth that will choose riches over a good name. All right. You might remember coming up, certain girls in middle school, in high school, that essentially would sell themselves out for riches. Right. You knew that according to their name, what? You knew a certain girls that were that chose riches, if you will, over a good name.
Right.
And what did you think about those women, Barack?
Yeah, they had dirt on their reputation.
Dirt on their reputation.
Smeared.
Smeared. Oh, okay. I like that word. Had dirt. Smeared. That reputation was tarnished.
Come.
And they lived up to that dirty name that they had too, didn't
they? They sure did.
Right. And because of that tarnishment, that smear, that dirt on their name, that's how you treated them, right? That's how you treated them. When we hear some of our music, and we hear about women and say, "Hey, yeah, I heard her name was Blockhead," right? You treated her as such. You're not going to treat that woman. You're not going to treat that sister as a princess. You're not going to treat her with respect. You're going to treat her according to her name, right? And again, if that name has dirt, smeared, and is tarnished, you will treat her as such. And essentially, you feel she deserves that too, right?
Right.
Absolutely. All right. So let's continue reading on that, if you could, please.
And loving favor rather than silver and gold.
And loving favor rather than silver and gold. The Bible is teaching us that we should have a good name, a good reputation over silver and gold. All right? Silver and gold is so temperamental, right? But favor, a good name, a good reputation is everlasting. That name is everlasting. And that's how we can have, sidebar, like eternal life, right? By having a good name, a good reputation. Because if you have that good name, people will continue to speak about you, right? They will tell good stories about you. And people will essentially mold their lives after you, after your reputation, right? Anybody on the conference call, anybody in class, name me some good people. Name me people throughout history that have had a good reputation. Anybody? All right. I heard Salakia. Talk to me.
I would say Yahweh.
Absolutely. Yahweh. That's a very good one. Anybody else?
Salakia.
Go ahead.
Abba Bivens.
Abba Bivens. I like that as well.
That's right.
Absolutely, absolutely. The man who essentially gave this truth, who started this truth from slaves, right? And passed it on down to great men as Commander Junior Hunter. Okay. I heard another Salakia. Trubazar, was that you? Go ahead. You had somebody?
Well, I did. My esteemed comrade has beat me to it.
No sweat. No sweat. And you see. Oh, go ahead. Talk to me. Hey, Yabashim Bashar. Good to hear from you, brother. Good to hear from you. Real quick, since I got you on the line, we're talking about having a good name, a good reputation. Other than Commander Junior Hunter, other than Abba Bivens, and of course, Yahawashah, King Yahawashah. Name me anybody else that you can think of in history on this earth that's had a good reputation, a good name. Go ahead. Absolutely. Moses. I love this. I love this. And you see, it's interesting. When I ask a simple question as like, yo, can you think of anybody who's had a good name, a good reputation? I get silence. And then we have to reach back. We have to reach back to the scriptures. We have to reach back, right? Mm-hmm. We have to reach back to times of Moses, times of Yahushua. And we can only go as far as Commander Junior Hunter. And see, that's, brothers and sisters, that is sad. That's sad. We need more people on this earth with a good reputation. More people on this earth, you know what I'm saying, with a good name. Going back to the definition, we need more people on this earth that can be publicly recognized for having achievements, good standing merits, and reliability. We don't really have that in this earth, man. Go ahead. Somebody said Salaki.
Come on, sir. I think we got a feast coming up. How about Mattathias, priest Mattathias, and Judas Maccabees?
Oh yeah, I'll take it. I will take that. But again, we have to go back to these scriptures, all right, to really find people of good merit and of good standings, right? A good reputation. And oddly enough, I kind of found somebody a couple of weeks ago that had a good reputation, a good name. I looked up a woman, and she is an Atlanta TV legend, if you will. Her name was Jovita Moore, and she died recently. She died a few weeks ago from brain cancer. Right. Died from brain cancer, and this woman was like the black face, the new black face, per Monica Kaufman for WSTV Channel 2 Action News. And when you like read some of her bio, you read articles, all they can do is just say good things about her, right? They say, oh, she was loving. She was such a loving mother, such a good co-worker, and such peaceful, no drama, things of that nature, you know. And I wanted to recognize her because for a woman of her stature, right? A woman of her status in the quote unquote celebrity world, that woman had a black husband. Yeah, exactly, bro. Yeah, I see the look on your face. Yeah, wow, really? Mm-hmm. She had a black husband, right? Yeah. And black kids. You know, something small like that. Something so small but still righteous. But it's small in this society. But that is great in the eyes of the Most High, because you're still loving your people, right? You're choosing to have the favor of the Most High over riches, right? Over silver and gold. Let's read that scripture again. Proverbs
22 verse 1. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and a love and favor rather than silver and gold.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And since we want to touch on at least a woman having a good name, let's go to Proverbs 31. Let's go to Proverbs 31 and 30. Let's go to Proverbs 31 and 30.
Ready?
Absolutely.
Proverbs 31 verse 30. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain.
And beauty is vain. Faithful is deceitful, and beauty is vain. And this is for this verse is, of course, is for the sisters, because thinking that your good looks is going to really get you where you want to be, or essentially get you anywhere. You know, and when men see that, they will put you in a category that you cannot get out of. Remember how we talked about the women in high school, right? And their reputation. And oddly enough, we see the same thing when we go out just to have a good time. We go out to the clubs, we go out to restaurants, and we see women that think that they have favor and think that they have just so much beauty. But what does the scripture say about that? About their beauty and their so-called favor?
Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain.
But
a woman that feareth the Lord.
That what?
Feareth the Lord.
A woman that what?
Feareth the Lord. She shall be praised.
She shall be praised. She shall be praised. That's right. And we can give it up because we have sisters. We know sisters that fear the Lord. And those sisters are being praised. Those sisters are being complimented. They're being taken care of. Matter of fact, we have sisters in this school here. Let's give it up for those sisters that fear the Most High. Right? They fear the Most High. Because, and how do they fear the Most High? They take care of the men of the Most High. We have sisters who come out throughout the week. They help to clean the school. They especially will love to cook. And here in Atlanta, we've kind of coined the phrase, the Feast of the Sabbath. Right? Yeah. Because our sisters will come through and they will throw down. They give a warrior's welcome every Saturday. Every Saturday, man. We're talking the stuff that you would. What kind of things do we get? We have a variety. We go from what? Oxtails to
collard greens, and turnips, biscuits,
right?
Cornbread,
all that stuff that people in the world gotta wait till Thanksgiving to eat. They gotta wait till Thanksgiving to eat that. But we're in the school. We don't have to wait that. We don't have to wait that long. We are celebrated every week. We're celebrating every week. And because we go out and camp and we celebrate the day that the Most High will come back and destroy our enemies. We're asking for favor for the Most High to come back and destroy our enemies. Right? We want to make sure that we have that good name for the Most High as well. All right? So now, let's go to Proverbs 16:7. Proverbs 16:7.
Proverbs 16 verse 7. When a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him.
When a man's ways please the Most High. That's what we're talking about now. We want our ways to please the Most High here in the Isupk under Commander Juliana. We want to make sure that the Most High is pleased. All right? As a family, as brotherhood, as an organization, that's what we're trying to do. And not just have a good name or a good reputation for ourselves, but we want we want all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to have a good reputation for the Most High, right?
Right.
Like I get tired of hearing how my Mexican brothers are just so lazy. I get tired of hearing from our former president Donald Trump that our Hispanic brothers are what? Are rapists, right?
Right.
Trying to really discredit them, you know, and disgrace our people, man. You know what I'm saying? Like my Negro brother, my black brothers, they have a reputation of what? What are some of the so-called reputations that blacks have?
Well, they don't take care of their salami.
Mm-hmm.
The black men don't take care of their kids.
Deadbeat dads.
Deadbeat dads.
What else?
They we get the lanes in this too.
Mm-hmm.
We all criminals.
Exactly. You see?
Mm-hmm.
You see, like that is our name now. That's our name from our oppressor, right?
Right.
Like I'm so sick and tired of that, man. Like I want our people to have a good name throughout this earth, and a good name for the Most High, man. Talk to me. Hey, how about some shop brother? Come on in.
Absolutely, sir. If I could, what you're bringing out is, extremely heavy. And going back for a moment on what you said about our Mexican brothers, Isupk.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to a good name, sometimes you can say a name and immediately a thought will come to your mind. And normally what that thought is what you've experienced or what you see or to know about them. When I think about Isupk, one of the very first things that I think about is how hard they work. So it's the exact opposite of what that President Trump said. Because I have worked many years alongside of Isupk brothers, and they are where I get my drive to work and to complete jobs when it comes to something physical. But not only to work hard, they work hard and they're efficient. They do their job well and they do it quickly.
Right.
So that name in itself, you talk about a good name. The name, I believe, the Hebrew scholar says the name in itself means I am hired. So Isupk, they get the job and they do the job. So that it fits them very well. That's a good name for them.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Isupk, which is in the Hebrew translation is Yashakar, and which means he is hired. And as the officer brought out, Kasia brought out, that yes, that Isupk gets the job done. That's their name, and they live up to their name. Right? That's just one example of that. But see, our oppressor, who is the devil that the Bible speaks of, has dedicated his life to ruining that name. He has dedicated his life to ruining blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians' names. Right? People we really have to understand that. Just how good how powerful a good name is. How powerful having a good reputation means, man. Now, oh, somebody else says like it?
I'm calling you this y'all stuff that. I think you want to find that before I bring it out or whatnot.
I don't mind. Come on in. Talk to me.
So you go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 17.
Oh, okay.
And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Most High shall lead you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that. As a matter of fact, you kind of jumped on ahead of me. But I didn't have that. I had a similar verse. But I like that. I appreciate you bringing that out, brother. The water for that. But that's what we're talking about. having that good name, right? That good reputation, right? Now earlier, when we asked the question, if anybody could come up, if anybody could guess or name somebody who had a good reputation. And oddly enough, I had three brothers who came up with the same answer. And they said Yahweh, or as people in the world might know, Jesus Christ, right? So if I could, let's talk about that. Let's see what the scriptures say about that and Yahweh and his reputation. Because Yahweh cared about his reputation as well. He wanted to make sure that he had a good name too amongst the people. So if we could, let's go to Matthew, the book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 13.
Book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 13.
Yes.
When Yahweh came into the coast of Caesarea. Caesarea.
Yes.
Philippi. He asked his disciples, saying, whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?
Okay. So, who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? So Christ is carrying. Christ is showing right here, because in the context, this takes place after Christ and the disciples fed the thousands of people with what? A couple of pieces of fish and loaves of bread. All right. Okay. So let's continue on.
Verse 14. And they said, some say that thou art John the Baptist.
Okay.
Some Elias.
All right.
And others Jeremiah.
Okay, so real quick, so Elias, what is that's you might say that's New Testament form. What is Elias or Jeremiah?
Elijah.
Who are they? Elijah and
Jeremiah.
Okay, continue on.
Or one of the prophets.
Okay, or one of the prophets. Now this is interesting because the people that he named, John the Baptist, Elias or Elijah, or Jeremiah, these were very famous people in Israel, right?
Right.
These were very famous people, highly spoken of, right? But also these were some very hardcore prophets,
right,
for the Most High. Very hardcore prophets. These people took no slack when it came to the works of the Most High. These people utterly gave their lives for the Most High, because they not only did they want to serve, but they also wanted to save their people. Right? They wanted to save their people. And they wanted to make sure that their people could get back in the good graces of the Most High. Right?
Right.
All right. Let's continue on.
Verse 15. He said to them, but whom say that I am? Mm-hmm. And Simon Peter answered and said, thou art Christ, the Son of the living God. Mm-hmm. 17. And Yahushua answered and said unto him, blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood have not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven.
All right. So now, when disciple Peter recognizes and understands who Christ is, and who Christ is, not only his identity, but also who he is to Israel, and to the, again, we're going to be using this word a lot, for the reputation of Israel, then Peter is blessed, right? Peter is blessed by this. And this is, again, going back, this is what we want for our people. This is what we want for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to be blessed by the Most High and having that good reputation to get back in His graces, right?
Right.
Now, of course, when you hear Christians talk about the Most High, the Christians, they want everybody. They want everybody to be a part of this. Everybody, you get a good name. You get a good name. You get a good reputation. No, that is so false. Those are absolute lies. All right, because you cannot give the same person that has been oppressing you for years upon decades, upon centuries, the same name that you have. You can't do that. Like, am I supposed to sit at the table with a Ku Klux Klan member? Huh? And say that that we're supposed to love. Yeah, we're supposed to love each other. And forget what he has done. Right?
Right.
Because like if you read throughout history, the Ku Klux Klan has a very terrorizing reputation. Their name alone would strike fear in the hearts of slaves after slavery. Slovakia. During the Reconstruction era. And this was after the end of slavery. The Ku Klux Klan had that kind of reputation. And what did they do? They came in the middle of the night on horses and with torches and hoods on. Right? And that look, that terrible act of hatred struck fear in blacks. That was their reputation. And for some reason, Christianity wants you to forget the reputation and that sole name of certain oppressors. And we can't do that. We can't do that. The Most High is not going to do that. Christ isn't going to do that. Why should you? Because everybody on this earth knows your name, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. They know your reputation because they gave it to you. They gave you your name. Remember from the movie Roots, and you had the so-called Kunta Kinte, and being what? Renamed Toby? Right?
Right.
The oppressors changed your name and made you live up to their standards. They made you live up to their standards, man. And because of that, that's why, again, our reputation is just so smeared and tarnished. Because of that, blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians do not have respect in this earth. They have no respect on this earth now. When a black man is being pulled over by the police, he is not treated like a man. He is treated as an object. He is treated as a criminal. He's damn near treated like an animal. If he makes the wrong move, he will be shot. He will be put down. He will be killed. Because what's the reputation that blacks have when it comes to the police? That they're always angry. Right?
Right.
They're angry. They're criminals. They're lively. They're lively to try to hurt somebody, try to kill somebody. And so that means that they need to be killed first. That's the name that blacks have amongst the police in this society. Right? That's their reputation. That they're so uppity. and mouthy, that they talk back. Well, simply, a black man just wants to know why you pulled him over. Black man wants to know why you hate him so much. Because that's the name, that's the reputation that the white man has. That's the reputation that the oppressor has against him. That he's just full of hatred. But again, the Christian church wants you to believe otherwise. Right?
Right.
So now, we spoke about having a good name and how Christ cared about having a good name and a reputation. So now, I know he was silent when we tried to name people with a good reputation. Now, can anybody name me some people in this earth that have a bad name or a bad reputation, if you will?
Like,
come on in.
Donald Trump.
Oh, out the gate. Donald Trump. All right. Anybody else on the conference call? I know y'all can think of some bad people now.
So like, all the presidents.
Go ahead.
I don't know if that's fictional or non-fictional, but we all know the famous quote, "My name is my name." You know, Omar and all that. So, he was based on real gangsters, gangsters on the street. Sitting there doing that Alpo Martinez, his name is no more on this earth. But we all know he did wicked things, so right.
All right, okay. Said Alpo, all right. Yeah, I heard a little bit about him. And it was interesting too, because in the gruesome way that he was killed, right? Oddly enough, a lot of people didn't cry over him. Right?
Right, yeah.
A lot of people didn't cry over him. They said this man died. He was killed in a very brutal drive-by. And again, nobody cried for him. Now, why is that?
People celebrated actually. So.
He was celebrated.
Yeah.
But originally, though, come on, talk to me.
Come on, so lock it real quick about May. And he betrayed his best friend. Richard Porter, he murdered his best friend. And after years, they got him, they killed him. But it's not for that. They killed him over a woman. Somebody got revenge because he took somebody's woman and he slapped the dude, and the dude came back and got him 3 in the morning. So lock it.
And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there. He had that reputation for so many years, and they did not forget. They didn't forget. He couldn't change otherwise. And the moment they found that, when they finally got to him, they made him pay for that. But see, again, if we had if our people had a good reputation, a good name, these things wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen at all, man. So now, who else can name somebody, some people with a bad reputation? I heard Alpo, I heard Donald Trump, then I heard essentially all the presidents. Talk to me.
I say all the oppressive nations that's out there in Israel.
Oppressive nations, I like that. But I would like some specifics, though. I would like some specific people.
It's like, what's the GMS camp leader name? No, we can take it to the Israelite world. I ain't heard from guys in a minute, but we know them as a whole. Right. They don't have a good name in Israel. And then then their head, they don't have a good name.
That's right. So the leader of that so-called Israelite group.
We got to put up disclaimers that we don't got nothing to do with groups.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And of course we'll get to
because
that.
of that name.
That's right. We'll get to that. Okay. But now listen. Oh, this is a new voice. Who's this?
Not new voice, but the first time out.
Oh, okay. You sound different. Go ahead, brother. Talk to me.
Okay, yeah. Marcus.
Who?
Yeah, she have a bad reputation because of that's why we on fishing. That's why we out there hung out on drugs and crack, and that's why we can't even get a decent job in thinking Twitter. Because she built a bad reputation, you know, that work with CIA. You know, every time I want to kill our kids, so we can't even build our own nation. Go ahead.
Right. Absolutely. I like that. Get that brother a hand, man. Like the mother of the abortion bill. Absolutely. But let's get somebody else. How about and
The other one.
go ahead.
You say Martin Luther King?
I didn't. But that's what I like. Specifics. We can say Martin Luther King. But also, and this is one of my favorite ones to talk about. Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton, who's for years, he had a reputation to want to speak for black folks. He always wanted to get them to march after a little incident that happened to make the news, you know. And come to find out, Al Sharpton is an informant, is an FBI agent, right?
Right.
And then when you do the paperwork on it, you do the research, and you notice that Al Sharpton will only come around if a so-called black incident, like if it made the news. It had to make the news first, right? It had to essentially like create a wave throughout the black community before he would really get involved, right? I mean, take for instance, what's going on now? Down in Brunswick, Georgia, there's a trial going on for a young man by the name of Ahmaud Arbery. And everybody should be familiar with this name. This was a young brother who was gunned down by three oppressors. Gunned down with a shotgun while jogging in a neighborhood. Does everybody remember that story?
Come.
Yeah. Gunned down for jogging, right? And as you read articles about the story and you read articles about what's going on in the court, that's going on trial, and you hear how the defense attorneys, the defense for these oppressors are talking about this young man. You hear how they're trying to sully his name and really discredit him, right? Essentially, they amount his death to not following instructions. That's what it is. They equate his death to not being able to follow instructions. So now what is that saying? These oppressors killed a slave that wouldn't do what they wanted to do. That's why they talk about him. That's how they feel. Think about that. And that is their justification for killing him. They said that they want to report that he was breaking into newly constructed houses. Well, excuse me, us like it, unfinished houses, and taking things. That's what they said. He was taking things from unfinished houses, right?
Yeah.
And when they pulled, and when they got him, he had nothing in his hand. Go ahead.
Come on, Counselor, if I may, can we use the incident with Trayvon Martin? You know, Zimmerman, he's got a bad name, but he trying to say that Trayvon got a bad name. He say he always get away. He always get away. So and then he did the same thing with Auburn. Can we use that?
Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. These oppressors have created a name for us. They've sold our reputation. You know, you hear in some instances like they create the narrative. They create the narrative for us, and they want you to live by it. And by you living by it, it justifies their killing you. It's their license, or or history will call it, it is the oppressor's manifest destiny to kill you because of your reputation. Sad. Very sad. And now, I brought up Al Sharpton especially because now Al Sharpton wants to show his face for this Ahmaud Arbery case, and he made national news again because he wanted to be in the courtroom. He wanted to be in the courtroom. And he wanted to bring protesters because now son, you want to fight for this young man. You want to get his case. You want to get his trial moved. You want to do this. You want to do all of this as a publicity stunt. That's all it amounts to. A publicity stunt. Al Sharpton has not made changes for any black person. And guess what? And blacks know it. Blacks know it, but they don't do anything about it. Mm-hmm. They just keep it going. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
What you bring out once again is heavy. Going back to the scripture that also Kaya brought out about the name that we would have. I believe we brought out Deuteronomy, and what was called an astonishment or a byword. Then what you were just saying about how we should give the name by our oppressor, it brought me to a class that during Black Watch that Joe Yapata said that we are a stereotype. And once you have had that stereotype placed on you, that's like a name. It's like who you become in the eyes of your oppressor. And that stereotype basically causes you to get murdered. Because when they see you, because your oppressor has called you that, they see a person who is dangerous. They see a person who is an animal. So because of that stigma that has been attached to you, that name that has been attached to you through that stereotype, that's why you're supposed to murder you. Because of that name and the narrative that the oppressor has given us. So, very heavy topic what you're bringing out. Very heavy on it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Most High in Christ. Most High in Christ. And you know what? Let's go to that verse. Let's go to Deuteronomy. We'll get back to Al Sharpton because Al Sharpton is not going to get away with this. Okay, he's not going to get away because he's included in this. All right, let's go to Deuteronomy because this is the verse I want to pull out. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 37. Let me get that, please.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 37.
Mm-hmm.
And thou shalt become an astonishment,
mm-hmm.
a proverb, and a byword.
Okay, stop right there. Now, Officer Kasiai, what Officer Kasiai was bringing up was very heavy. Very heavy. And so in tune with this class. All right? So now, before we get into all of that, let's look at the definition of byword. Let's get that first. Because we hear this byword. We hear this byword, and a lot of times we don't necessarily pay attention to it. All right, but let's look it up. Let me have that, please.
Oh my God.
Go ahead.
Byword. A person or thing cited as a notorious and outstanding example of or embodiment of something.
Ooh, hold on. Read that part again. Read that notorious part for me.
Oh my God. A person or thing cited as a notorious and outstanding example or embodiment of something.
Oh man, wow. The embodiment. Ooh, I should have wrote that down. That was great. That was absolutely great. And see, funny, this was my definition for byword. Of course, unfortunately, it wasn't as strong as yours. My definition, it came from dictionary.com, a byword, a word or phrase associated with some person or thing. A characteristic, expression, typical greeting, a word or phrase used proverbially, an object of general reproach, derision, and scorn. See? And now, Kasi, I want you to read yours again for me, please. I want to write something down for that.
Byword.
Uh-huh.
A person
Uh-huh.
or thing cited as a notorious and outstanding example or embodiment of something.
Outstanding example. Embodiment. Absolutely. Uh-huh.
Where it says an outstanding example, that outstanding example is the phrase which you read in this context isn't saying that the outstanding could be something good. It's an over exaggeration of if you're someone could be an outstanding liar. That's what he's saying. When you're very good at what it is that you are. So when they call us a byword, they're telling us you are absolutely a nigga.
Right.
Outstanding nigga.
Right.
So when we embody that, it's saying that we are everything that the definition of that word is.
Right. And see that Most High in Christ. That's what I wanted to get to. Because our reputation, our name is biblical. It is biblical because we did not follow after the Most High. Right? So now, Officer Kasiai gave an example of a byword. And he also used another example coming from General Commander General Hana that talked about a stereotype, which essentially is what a byword is. A byword is another word for stereotype. Right? So now we had nigga. We heard the word nigga. What other bywords have been applied by our oppressors to Israel? Come on in.
We've been calling people who are not a people. We've been named a color. We've been called black. You know what I mean? Slovakia.
Oh, I love that one. I love that one. Very nice. Very nice. Anybody else that can think of some bywords?
Slovakia.
Come on in.
Going once again back to our Isupk that was being called a wetback or spit.
There you go. There you go. That's what I wanted to hear. Wetbacks and spicks. All right. Here's a byword for you. Anybody heard savages? Anybody heard savages? That's right. And guess who? That applies That would apply to our Native Indian brothers. Or here's another byword, and people maybe you didn't think much of this as an actual byword. Okay, redskin. Redskin. Has anybody heard redskin before?
Come.
Mm-hmm. And what's it associated with? Go ahead.
It once was associated to the football team.
Right.
Nice.
Right. You see how they put it right in front of you? They make a name for you. Our oppressors will make a name for you and will force you to live by it. They will force you to live by that. And then they will make money off of you too. This is your byword. I'm sorry, someone talk to me. Who's this? Come on in.
So, when they call you like a boy, that means that they got the strongest man out there in the field, the toughest man in the field, and buck breaker. They pretty much, you know what buck breaking is. They buck breaker, rest it up, you know, like just a strong kid. So, they either kind of call you a boy, not because I broke you from man. All you is just a big, strong boy. But hey, boy, come here. Big man, come here, boy. Okay, go ahead.
Oh no, you're absolutely right. And, you know, it's interesting you bring that out because you know I have an 11-year-old son, and I tell him, you know, whenever he calls me, and I will address him, "What's going on, my son? What's going on?" And you know, it's oddly enough, if I call him boy, if I say, man, boy, stop playing around. And sometimes I have to wonder who he was in a past life. Where as an 11-year-old, calling him boy is just so rude to him. And it's so demeaning to him. You know? And he will tell me, he said, Dad, that's rude. And I said, but you are a boy. He said, I know. But for you to call me that, to say it like that, wow. And if I not tell him, well, you know, if the oppressors are calling you that, then that's definitely a problem. And I asked him, has anybody called you that? He says, no. But I said, okay then. And so if he has the mindset to not want to live by that reputation, then I'm like, okay then. All right then, my son. I will address you as such. But I told him, when you start acting like a child, then I will call you boy. Come on in, talk to me.
Look, you know, the only thing about that, I was in my early 20s. Every time a mom drinks or something, she would say boy. Like, you know, the person say boy. She say, hey, get that boy over there. I'm like 20-some years old. Why you call me a boy? You know, I'm a grown man, right? You know, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Right? You call me boy. You call me boy at the time, and then after that, you be like, you know, after, you know what I'm saying, you know about truth, you know, with,
right.
It's like an inherited thing, you know what I'm saying? We learn from our purpose, man. You know, you already know what proper things are the one, you gotta figure it out, but you have a thing that, you know, back in the field with Adam and Eve, where the serpent came in and said, you be God, once you rule your man, you know, it's like, once you rule your man, you treat him like a kid, like, that was kid, you know, going, you know, man, going to class, blocking.
No sweat, absolutely, absolutely. You're bringing out great points. Yeah, somebody else said Slakia. Talk to me.
Absolutely. What also the pod just brought out, and what you were saying, both they complement each other so well, because what it does is it makes you think about the stigma that's attached to the name boy. But also, if you want to go a little bit further, it's something of how the oppressor has instilled in us
Right.
It used to be, when you say that, you're using the word black as something to be offended by. That's what they look at your black ass. Why do you have to call someone black? Instead of just saying, look at your ass, you say, look at your black ass. So we have been taught by our oppressor to use those words that they taught us in a negative sense, just like we use the word nigga.
Right.
We say it to each other, and I believe General Hines brought this out when he said that there would be black people who say, look at them niggas over there. And they were using it in negative connotation. So the name or the word that our oppressor used, he also taught us to use it against each other in a negative way. So what you bring out about your son, to make you wonder when he hears that, he knows, although it's coming from you, but the word boy, it does make you wonder who or what he experienced before. Because you're hearing a word that brings offense to you. Because it was used in a sense to belittle you by your oppressor.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, block you.
Hold on. And now, one moment. And also, with that, how you and that connotation, how you said, you know, your black ass, this nigga here. Think back to the movie Boys in the Hood. Think back to that, and that iconic scene where the family called for the police, and that one black cop was just so angry and hateful against his own kind. And it was bad enough because it's bad enough because that family already knew the reputation of the police when he says, you know, man, you know, you're just now getting here. He addressed their timeliness, but then having to deal with that cop, and he already knew that this black man is not even a black man to me. I might as well just call him an oppressor as well, because that black oppressor has sided with his own oppressors, and now wants to oppress me as well. And that's the reputation that we have to fight against. That's the reputation we have to fight against, man. Is fictional people like that in the movies, and it's real people just like Al Sharpton, all right? Who they show this so-called love, man, but it's not even love for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. It's not even love for your own people. It's love for the oppressors, man. It's love for the oppressor, man. As a matter of fact, we just talked about being a proverb and an astonishment amongst all nations, whether the Lord shall lead you, right? So now, let's go to Micah. Let's go to the book of Micah real quick. And let's go to chapter 3. Micah chapter 3, verse 11. Talk to me, go ahead.
Mark, before you leave off that topic, also in that movie, which is crazy, the Boy in the Hood, I think it was some little kids talking. Something that was like, man, you working me like a Hebrew slave.
That's right. I've heard that term. I've heard that many times, even on the jobs. That, man, I'm here working like a Hebrew slave. Right. Just think about that, man. A byword. It's just, my God, man, that byword has traveled. That byword has traveled through time. Right? And lifespans. And it still applies to us. It's still making it apply to us to this day. We should be tired of that black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. I'm tired of this bad. I'm tired of having this bad name. I'm tired of having this bad reputation, man. And you know what? And that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons I'm so thankful for the Isupk. I'm so thankful that the Most High found me and put me in this and put me a part of this brotherhood, a part of this family, a part of this organization, man. To help blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians get that good name, man.
Right.
Absolutely, man. Let's go to Micah chapter 3, verse 11 real quick, man.
Micah 3, verse 11.
Uh-huh.
The heads thereof judge for reward,
Uh-huh.
and the priests thereof teach for hire.
They teach for what?
For hire.
Uh-huh.
And the prophets thereof divine for money.
TD Jakes.
Divine for money.
Al Sharpton.
Divine for money.
Martin Luther King.
Divine for money.
Malachi York.
Divine for money.
Joel Osteen.
Divine for money.
Brother Polite.
Definitely divine for money.
You see? You see? That stick, that how do you say that stigmatism, that stigma that's on us?
Uh-huh.
These are some of our so-called leaders. Oh, you know who we forgot? Creflo Dollar. Divine for money. Right? This is what Christianity has done to us. This is what Christianity continues to do today. Right? I know we talked about like having that bad reputation and whatnot through Christianity. We date all these people. Somebody else or something else that we should have named. The Catholic Church. Right?
Come on.
Oddly enough, even in the world, like as a Christian, I knew, or at least I was told, that the Catholic Church wasn't right. I was told the Catholic Church wasn't right one moment, and why? Because the Catholic Church was full of child predators. We would see on the news how they would have incident after incident after incident, and then their so-called priest would essentially put in a work transfer and be moved to another state and church. Come on, man. We have to pay attention to these reputations, man. We have to pay attention to these red flags. Right?
Right.
That's what we've been seeing. That's what we've been seeing on the Facebook, right? Oh, if a woman does this, that's a red flag. When a brother does this, that's a red flag. That's part of your reputation right there.
Right.
But we don't pay attention to it. We don't pay attention to it, and we continue to live by it, man. Come on in. Somebody say Salakia.
Come on, concept. Wow, that's a real heavy point. Want to know if we can use a few more followers, sir, if I may. And I know they call anybody, the Haitians, they call us African booty scratchers. They call us high yellow cone, lazy, shitless, the moral immigrant, commie for the Cubans, guerrilla, leader, and didn't do. Like, I think he didn't do it.
Wow, you know what? I remember using that African booty scratcher term. I never knew it was applied to the Haitians though. I never knew that. Wow. And see, but again, man, these stereotypes, these bywords, these racial slurs, they all equated to a bad name for you, a bad reputation in the eyes of the oppressors amongst this earth, and with that, it is a license and justification in their eyes to end your life. And we have to understand that, man. We have to understand that. Let's continue on with that. Micah 3 and 1, 3 and 11, Baba Shah.
Okay, and yet will they lean upon the Lord and
Now,
say.
Okay, hold on real quick. So now, yet will they lean upon the Lord. In this context, let's think of lean upon the Lord as use.
Right.
They will use the Lord. They will use the name of the Most High. Right?
Right.
They use the name of the Most High to say that it's all right for them to do to perform these acts. Continue on.
And say, is not the Lord among us?
Mm-hmm. Hold on. So is not the Lord among us? Look at my congregation. Look at all the money that I have. Right?
Right.
Look at my houses. Look at my cars. Isn't the Lord with me? Right? But then what happens? Certain people will start to understand things. It's like, wait a minute. These are what do the Christians call them? Prosperity preachers. Right?
Right.
Prosperity preachers. But again, they see the red flags. They understand the reputation, but they won't. But they continue to follow it, right? And they continue to fall for those snares and traps. And because those preachers know how gullible their congregation is, they will continue to prey on them. All right?
All right.
So now, let's go to, we keep talking about this reputation and everything, man. That thing's so heavy to me. Let's go to the book of Psalms. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 44. Let's start at verse 8. Book of Psalms, chapter 44.
Psalms 44, verse 8.
And I wanted to bring this out especially because talking about the reputation of the Christian church. All right? Go ahead.
In God we boast all the day long, and praise thy name forever, Selah.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 9. But thou hast cast off and put us to shame.
But have what?
Cast off and put us to shame.
Uh-huh.
And goest not forth with our armies.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 10. Thou makest us turn back from thy enemy, and they which hate us spoil for themselves.
Okay, so now, this scripture here, the Most High doesn't go forth with our armies. Right? We've been cast off. We have been, what? Put to shame. This is what has happened to Israel. We have been put to shame. The Most High is not with us. Right? Now we have Christians when you talk with them, and they want to give you these cliche lines. I'm highly blessed. What is it? I'm blessed and highly favored of the Lord.
Right.
I'm blessed because I woke up and I'm breathing. You want to give all these cliches. You're breathing, but you are still in captivity. You won't say that. Do you think a prisoner can say that? You think, hey, Officer Bro, you think we can go to the what prison is that? That downtown, that off of Garnett. You think we can go? Huh?
Federal prison?
You think we can go to that federal prison? You think we can go to the prison off Memorial Drive and say, well, hey, I woke up, I'm breathing? You think those brothers will say the same thing?
Right.
They have to wake up behind bars. They have to wake up behind bars, and every day is a struggle for their lives. Every day is a struggle for their life. They're hoping and praying that they are not shanked and killed. Right? Come on in. Come on, talk to me real quick. Go ahead. Hey, good to hear from your brother. Right?
Yeah, it's a lot, if I may.
Please, I don't mind.
I mean, people talk about it, but that goes back to that super predator that we've been labeled as for years by the Clinton Foundation and by Solomon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very good. Calling us super predators. And super predators deserve to be in cages. Super predators deserve to be put down like animals. And again, that's the reputation. I'm gonna keep saying that. This is what our oppressors are doing. Our oppressors have changed our name, given us a name, and making us live by this reputation. And it is a license and justification to keep us in this captivity, keep us in oppression, and murder us as they see fit. Right? Continue on, Baba Shaw.
Come. Psalms 44, verse. Let's go
Verse 10.
Verse 10. Thou makest us to turn back from the enemy, and they which hate us spoil for themselves.
That which hate us spoil for themselves. They steal from us. They hate us. All right? Continue on, please. We're going to get to it.
Verse 11. Thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat, and hast scattered us among the heathen.
Among the who?
Among the heathen. Thou sellest thy people for naught, and doest not increase thy wealth by their price.
You see this? Doesn't this sound like today's slavery? This sounds like today's oppression. All right. Now let's get down let's really get down to the meat of this right here. Let's go to verse 13. Baba Shah.
Verse 13. Thou makest us reproach to our neighbors.
Reproach to our neighbors. Let's look at that. I need that definition. Post haste. I need that definition of reproach. The definition of reproach. Go ahead.
The definition of reproach. Address someone in such a way as to express disapproval or disappointment.
Okay, very good. And that's also, I have blame or censure, conveyed in disapproval, expression of disgrace, discredit, or blame incurred. All right. Now let's look at that. Let's definitely focus on discredit and disgrace. Right? Now, Officer Brock, could you read that verse 13 again for me, please?
Come. Thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors.
Continue on.
A scorn and a derision to them that round about us.
Okay. So now, focusing on the word disgrace and discredit. And we talked about these racial slurs. We talked about these bywords. This reputation. Right? It's gotten so bad where blacks have a bad name and a bad reputation amongst each other. Right? Read that first part again, Officer Barack.
Come. 13?
Yes.
Okay. Thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors.
Okay, stop right there. Okay, a reproach. They make us a disgrace to who?
To our neighbors.
Read it again.
A scorn.
A discredit. To our who?
To our neighbors.
Again.
Thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors.
Disapproval. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's gotten so bad. It's gotten so bad that we are a reproach. We are disapproval amongst our own people. We are disgraced amongst our own people. Discredit. We can't even trust each other because of the name that our oppressor has given us. Right?
Right.
Divide and conquer. Like in the world. Now I tell people about myself sometimes. I tell people that I'm a Cosby kid. I'm from the south side of Atlanta. I'm from Riverdale, College Park. I didn't grow up amongst gangs or, guns and such. You know? I'm a Cosby kid, I came up with two loving parents. My parents didn't argue. We laughed, we joked, we ate dinner together, in front of the TV, you know. But if I talk to somebody else who is from the west side of Atlanta, I talk to somebody else who might be on the east side of Atlanta, right?
Right.
We won't even get along. Because I would look at them because of the stigma that's been put on them. Oh man, they from the west side of Atlanta. Oh, they from the east side of Atlanta. Those are some thugs. Those are some thugs. They're gonna try to rob me. Right?
Right.
They're gonna try to take my lady from me. A disgrace. We are a disgrace amongst our own people. We can't even trust each other. But Barakatah Yahushua, because of Commander General who held on to this truth, here comes the ISUPK. Here comes the ISUPK and brings brothers together. Brothers and sisters from every walk of life, from every neighborhood, brings them out of gangs, from every city, every state, and across the country and around the world, brings brothers and sisters together. Brings them together, man. In brotherhood, in the spirit of brotherhood. And now because of that spirit of brotherhood, brothers and sisters can now trust each other. They can trust each other, man. If I go to an event and I drop my wallet, I drop my phone, I don't have to worry about it because I know that I can trust that somebody is going to try to find me so they can give it back to me. I don't have to worry about if another brother is going to try to finesse my lady, because we now have brotherhood, right? We can trust each other, right?
Right.
But see, now in the Christian church, that's going to be on your mind all day. It's going to be on your mind all day, man, because of that reproach, right? That reproach, man, that bad reputation that the oppressors in the Christian church has put on blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, right? And we can't keep doing that, man. We have to get past having a bad name and a bad reputation. All right? Now earlier we asked about anybody else that had a bad reputation. Well, first, Salakia, we asked about having a good reputation. And brother said, King Yahushua. They went to the Bible. They said Yahushua. They said Moses. Now, we can go to the scriptures and we can see other famous people who had bad reputations. Right?
Right.
Let's go to the book of Acts. Let's go to the book of Acts. And let's start at chapter 9. Start at chapter 9, please. Go to the book of Acts. Chapter 9. And just read verse 1 for now.
Acts 9, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's Saul.
Who?
Saul.
Okay.
Yet breathing out threatenings and slaughter against the disciples of the Lord, went into the high priest and desired of him letters to Damascus, to the synagogues, that if he found any of this way, whether they were men or women, he might bring them bound unto Jerusalem.
Okay, so now we're in the book of Acts, and we just mentioned Saul. We mentioned Saul. Now, of course, this Saul that we're speaking about, this is the Apostle Paul before he came into the truth. Right?
Right.
And we're talking about the kind of reputation that Paul had before coming into the truth. This man was feared amongst the people. Oddly enough, he wanted to serve God, but he didn't do it. He was not doing it the right way. Right? All right, cool. So now let's drop down and let's go to verse 5. Verse 5, talking about the kind of reputation that Saul had before coming into the truth.
Verse 5. And he said, Who art thou, Lord? And the Lord said, I am Yahushua, whom thou persecutest. It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks.
Okay, so now again, showing how Saul had the reputation, right? That it got so bad that Christ came to him in a vision and asked him, why are you persecuting me? Why? Right? Now, let's go to, let's drop that. Let's go to verse 13. Verse 13 and 14.
Verse 13. Then Ananias answered, Lord, I have heard by many of this man, how much evil he hath done how much evil.
How much what?
Evil.
Uh-huh.
He hath done to thy saints at Jerusalem.
Now you see how what the having a bad name and a reputation can get you now? Because now he's trying, all enough again, he's trying to do right. He's trying to do right, but he's not doing it. He's trying, pun intended, I guess, he's trying to do right, but he's not doing it the right way. He has that bad reputation, man. He has that stigma upon him. Right? Sometimes that makes it hard to come into the truth. And then even when you come into the truth, if you are fortunate enough, if you are blessed that you can come to the truth, now because it will become hard for people to listen to you. It'll be hard for people to accept who you are because of who you have been.
Right.
They will make you live by that so-called byword. They will make you live by your reputation. All right?
Right.
And you will live with reproach. Okay? You will be discredited. You will be disgraced because of your reputation, man. That name that you have. All right? So now let's continue on. Let's drop that. Let's go to verse 20. Let's go to verse 20 now. And this should be when Saul has changed his life. I realize I'm moving a little fast here. When Saul has changed his life and now he has been renamed. He's been renamed and now he is now the apostle Paul and no longer Saul. Let's read that.
Verse 20, Acts 9, verse 20. And straightway he preached Christ in the synagogues.
Okay.
That he is the Son of God.
All right.
21. But all that heard him were amazed and said, Is it not this he that destroyed them which call on this name in Jerusalem? It came hither for that intent, that he might bring them bound unto the chief priests.
You see how bad having that reputation? You see how having a bad reputation, a bad name can get you? And you see how hard that name, it lives with you. It stays with you. You know?
Come.
It's having that bad name, that stigma placed on you is almost like a tattoo. That thing can be permanent. It can be permanent. And it will stay with you forever. If you want to get rid of it, it's going to be very, very hard to do. It's going to cost you a lot.
Right.
Literally and figuratively. To get rid of that stigma, to get rid of that name that's been placed upon you. But understand that according to these scriptures, it can be done. That it can be done, man. That you can have a good name. You can have a good reputation, man. All right. So now let's continue on. Sidebar. Does the Most High have a reputation?
Come.
Okay. What's the Most High's reputation?
Right.
Something simple and sweet. What is it? Go ahead.
He's a man of war.
A what?
A man of war.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's right. That's right. The Most High is a man of war. That's his reputation. That's the Most High's reputation, right? But now, the Christian church will have you to believe that the Most High is not a man of war. They will have you to believe that he is all love. He's all love. And because we, especially as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, have been manipulated, duped, tricked, hoodwinked, and bamboozled into believing that. Because we believe that the Most High is all love, then we will accept every action. We can accept every hateful action towards us and believe somehow that it is love. Right? When you have the police killing you, then you will say, oh, it's okay. God loves everybody and I do too. And so you're going to forgive them. Talk to me. Come on in.
The water, Genesis, John 1:46 as a precept.
John 1:46 as a precept. Okay, what is this a precept for? Let talk to me.
Because we talking about reputation, and when they talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and pretty much what they're saying is, can there any good come out of Nazareth?
Absolutely, we sure can. I love it. The water for that. Absolutely. Can any good thing? Let's read that real quick. The book of John, chapter 1, verse 46.
John 1:46. And the devil said unto him, can there any good thing come out of Nazareth? Philip said unto him, come and see.
Absolutely. Can any good thing come out of Nazareth? Come and see. Come and see. And we will tell you, yes. Can any good thing come out of Nazareth? Can any good thing come out of Atlanta? Can any good thing come out of LA, Compton, Long Beach? Can any good thing come out of Chicago? Can any good thing come out of Houston, Dallas, Port Arthur, Texas? Can any good thing come out of Harlem? Can any good thing come out of Philly? Can any good thing come out of DC? Absolutely. Under Commanding General Hunter, absolutely. Any good thing can come out of those cities. Any good thing can come out of Brazil. Any good thing can come out of the UK, out of Jamaica, Grenada, Trinidad, Tobago. Any good thing can come out, man. And you will see it in the ISUPK. You will see it. You will see brothers and sisters coming out of the slums, coming out of the trenches, coming out of sin, coming out of this society, man, and doing good works. Doing good work and establishing a good name. Right? Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes 7:1. Talk to me.
You just said an outstanding name that reaches across the land. Mm-hmm. And that name is the ISUPK under Commanding General Hunter.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
ISUPK is the only good name left.
That's right. That's right. And we're going to talk about that too.
Right.
We're going to talk about that too. The only good name left. That's right. So now let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes 7. Let's start at verse 1.
Ecclesiastes 7 verse 1. Mm-hmm. A good name is better than precious ointment.
All right.
and the day of death than the day of one's birth.
Okay, so a good name is better than precious ointment. And the day of death is better than one's day of birth. Now this scripture in particular is good for people, well at least I like to say, for people who want to celebrate their birthdays and have other people celebrate their birthdays. You think that people should celebrate you just because it's this day. It's your so-called day. That you should get all the attention, all the glory, because it's your day. Right? Not because you saved a man's life. Not because you got somebody off of drugs. Not because you stopped somebody from committing suicide. Or not because you counseled a couple. Right?
Right.
You stopped a sister from committing adultery. You stopped a brother from plotting on another man's wife or plotting on his life. You didn't do any of those things, but you want to be celebrated because it's your day. Now, when you put all that in perspective, what kind of reputation would you have then? If you want to be celebrated for none of those things, but just because it's your day. Right? And when you come into the truth, you understand just how selfish and self-serving this world can be. Alright? And that will be their reputation. They're just so selfish. They don't care about anybody else. Right? They don't care about they don't care about anybody else, and you have not done anything on this earth to be praised for. You have done nothing throughout your life. And you want us to speak about you now. You want us to, quote unquote, give you your flowers. But you have done nothing. But now, there is somebody who has done these things. There is someone who has got brothers and sisters off drugs, kept families together, made families stronger, stopped people from committing suicide, stopped people from eating abominations and atrocities. Commander Junior Hanna has. And because of him, the ISUPK has. And because of him and the ISUPK, more brothers and sisters will be able to do the same thing. Right? And their lives can be spoken highly of when their unfortunate passing comes. Right?
Right.
You ever gone to somebody's funeral and they start asking like, hey, anybody want to say anything? Nobody wants to get up. It's kind of like silence.
Right.
Because they haven't done anything worthwhile. They have not done anything to be praised and commended for. They didn't establish a good name. They did not establish a good reputation. Right? So now, that being said, let's go to the book of 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy chapter 4. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 6.
Second Timothy chapter 4, verse 6. For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand.
Okay, so now we just talked about, the day of your death should be highly spoken of more than your day of birth. All right, and now Christians will want to. They like to use this verse sometimes for a funeral, a eulogy, and such. But and to make people look good for the papers and such. But this verse right here is one of the motivations. Okay, this verse right here coincides with having a good name, having a good reputation for the Most High. Because when Christ has to speak on your behalf, when he comes back to reign, and you reign with him, will you be able to say these things? Right? Somebody read this for me again, please. Read verse 7. Let's see if this is part of your good name right here. This is part of your reputation. When all is said and done. Continue on from 2 Timothy 4 and 7.
Start at 4 then to 7.
Chapter 4, verse 7.
Oh,
Start
okay.
at 7.
2 Timothy 4, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
I have fought a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
I have finished my course.
All right.
I have kept the faith.
You have what?
Kept the faith.
Uh-huh. So now when you have kept the faith, you have, stay with me for a minute. When you have kept the faith, you are still following these laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High placed in your life, that he placed on this earth. Right? Again, that's part of the reputation. That's part of the reputation. Were you obedient to the Most High? Did you serve? Did you follow after what he established? Right? Continue on.
Verse 8. Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day, and not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing.
See, this is what the Isupk under Commander Junior Hunter is striving for. Not just for us, but for every black, Hispanic, and Native Indian on this earth. That they can say this before King Yahushua, before the Most High, man. This is what we're going for, right? Not just to be in the clouds, not trying to be up in the clouds and singing and beating tambourines all day long, as the Christian church would have it. But ISUBK wants to have that good reputation, that good name with the Most High, so that we can reign with King Yahushua when he comes back. Right? Because if you want to stand next to the king, you want to be in the king's presence, you better be flawless. Again, you gotta have that good name and that good reputation, man. And now, also with that being said, let's go to the book of Matthew. We got a few more before we get up out of here. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 25. The book of Matthew, chapter 25. Talk to me.
I was wondering, could we use Jude, the book of Jude, chapter 1, verse 13, as a kind of like a precept of what you're saying about like our reputation and stuff?
Let's see here.
Our skin, meaning like our skin color can be like, and have us in like a hellacious condition because of, how much our person hated of our, our skin color. Like,
I wouldn't necessarily say use this for the reputation. I had to look at that precept. I had to look at that verse again and get a better understanding of that one before I give you an answer. Okay? No sweat. I'll write that down for myself. All right. So now let's go back. To the book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 21. Talking about Isupk, the last name, the only name that's left. All right? Talk to me.
Matthew 25, verse 21.
Uh-huh.
His Lord said unto him,
Uh-huh.
Well done.
What?
Well done.
What?
Well done.
Uh-huh.
Thou good and faithful servant.
All right. Real quick. So well done, thy good and faithful servant. This is what the Isupk is striving for. This is what we are striving for. Hoping and praying that we have done the works that our King wants us to do, that we have performed without fail. And when he comes back, he can say these words to us. Continue.
Thou hast been faithful over a few things.
Mm-hmm.
I will make thee ruler over many things.
Okay. Ruler over many things. Again, this is what the Isupk is striving for. Getting that good reputation, that good name, showing what? That we have been faithful. Right?
Right.
And we followed. And now because of that good name, because of that reputation, what can we do? We will be made what?
Ruler over many things.
Rulership. If you can be faithful to the Most High, follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, right? And establish that good name and live up to the reputation, you can have rulership. You can have rulership, man. Come on in.
Go ahead. This one. Quickly ask it because in Genesis 34 and 30, we just went over this in 7 regarding how Levi and Simeon tarnished the reputation of Jacob, Salaki.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's read that. Let's read that real quick. We can read that. Give it to me again.
Genesis 34 and 30.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. We can use that definitely. Just showing that we have to keep that good reputation, keep that good name with the Most High. All right. So now we're in Matthew 25 and 21, and showing that how we have that, we established that good name, that good reputation, that we have what? Rulership with King Yahushua, right? We can have rulership. But now, here's the question. Here's another question, really. How can we do that? How can we have that good name and that good reputation, right? How can we have King Yahushua say to us, well done, that good and faithful servant, right? So now let's drop that and let's just look further down in the scriptures, staying in the book of Matthew chapter 25, and now let's go to verse 34.
Matthew 25, verse 34. Mm-hmm. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. 35. For I was hungered, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me in.
Mm-hmm. Continue on.
36. Naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me.
All right. So, reading that for the parts where the Most High was Salaki, when Christ is speaking and telling the story, right? Says, I was hungered and ye gave me meat. Thirsty and you gave drink. Stranger, you took me in. Naked and ye clothed me. Sick and you visited me. In prison and you came unto me. Right? That right there. King Yahushua is saying, he is essentially, right, stating your resume. He is saying all the good things that you did, right? He is showing your good name, your reputation. And in this verse, you see that it starts and it ends in brotherhood. That's how you get that good name. That's how you have a good reputation. Brotherhood.
Come.
Brotherhood, having brotherhood. Right?
Right.
Naked and you clothed. Hungry, you fed. It starts with brotherhood. Loving your brother as yourself. Looking after him. Considering him. Being compassionate. Putting your brother over yourself at times. Many times, actually. That's how it starts. That's how you can have the good reputation. That's how you can have the good name. And that's what Isupk strives for. That's what Isupk strives for, man. Come on in.
Real quick, you just read that verse and hey, these heathens, you know what I mean, they stole that from the Bible. This song from Celine Dion, you know, he said, you are my hope, and you know, all that stuff. And the song, To Love You More, they stole that from the Bible.
Absolutely, absolutely. You see what these oppressors are doing? You see what these heathens are doing? These heathens are using your book. They're using your scriptures to establish themselves, to establish themselves in this earth over you. When really, again, it's your book, your scriptures, your moral compass, your code that you should be living by, so that you can have rulership over this earth. Huh?
No, go ahead, finish out. Finish out, Joe. Yeah.
No sweat, the water. No sweat. Come on in. Talk to me. Come on in. Talk to me. I don't mind. No, you have something to bring out? Come on in.
Yeah, I do right now.
Well, in the meantime, between time, again, this is your book. These are your scriptures that you should be living by. And again, this is what the Isupk is striving for. Okay? Having that good name and that reputation. Alright? Why do you think the Isupk will say every time that we are not affiliated with any other Israelite group? We're not affiliated with any church, any black power movement. Right? Why do you think that? Because they don't have the reputation and the good name that Isupk has. They don't stand by it. They don't stand by it. They have no moral compass. They have no order. But the Isupk does. The Isupk has a moral compass. The Isupk follows these scriptures. The Isupk is in tune with the Most High. And is working diligently to reestablish blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and having that good name and that good reputation with the Most High. All right? Anybody else have anything else to say? I heard also the parts first.
Yeah, it's the same thing we're taking on things. It's a Brotherhood class. We got to sit together, you know, we always used to get broken, calling football game, calling you a boy and all that, and putting it down. We always, you know, come up short sometimes, man. You know, it's a hard time. It just,
Sin gets you, cause you know what them, man, you know what I'm saying? Cause what you know the truth, man, I'm gonna give out Matthew 18 and 21, 22. Sure?
Go ahead.
The book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 21. Then came to Peter to him, said, the Most High, how shall my brother sin against me? And I shall forgive him 7 times? And Yahweh said unto him, I say not to thee unto 7 times, but 7 times 7. Man, you know we can like man, we know we fall short, man, because he a person out there. You know what I'm saying? They raised him and bring them to household. They raised up all the bills and all the, the food stuff and stores, man. You know, we might come on short all the time. You know, some good brothers, man, but just give us 7 times 7, man. You know, we ain't coming out there with no dope in our damn pocket, gun in our damn pocket ready to kill somebody. Like, shit, you know what I'm saying? Just as he give $5, man, he give $20, man. Ain't nothing, you know what I'm saying? When Christ come down, man, people will be out of the kingdom this way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Very good part. Very good piece. Very good piece to say. You know, because if we can forgive our brothers, you know what I'm saying, have that compassion, have that brotherhood, that will help us reestablish a good name amongst each other and a good reputation. Absolutely. Anybody else have something to say? Absolutely. Come on in.
Our concept of words, it's a real heavy point. And that's what I don't add up on that if I may. You know, regarding brotherhood and reputation, General Muhammad brought this out recently that was a prayer called St. Crispin or St. Crispin's Day. And briefly, you know, it's about, you know, those who didn't join the fight. You don't go to camp, you don't go to class, you didn't join the brotherhood, you don't pay the tithes, right? You're gonna count you're gonna make yourselves to be accursed as you were not there. And people who were there, they're gonna count your manhood cheap or anyone speaks of you, right? So you know, you gotta just that's all I'm gonna say. So I can say.
No, absolutely, absolutely. That's what we want, man. You see these classes. You see us on the streets. You hear us on the streets. You see us with food programs, clothing programs, prison programs. You see the work. You see the work, and the work matches the name, and the work matches the reputation of the ISUPK, and no one else under Commanding Junior Hunter start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, establishing that good name and that good reputation within the community, throughout the earth, across this nation, and ultimately back to the Most High. And with that, we'll pass the class off to Precinct Officer Rakiala.
Good, precinct proper hand. Excellent class. Have a good night. I'm gonna do the security announcements. I'm Officer Baraki Allah, ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There, in another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, comes out of Numbers 18 and 21. Malachi 3, 8 through 10 means 10th in the Hebrew, Mash'ara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives to the treasury department or teacher. Upcoming holy convocations that we have is a Feast of Dedication. It starts on November the 28th. It's for 8 days. And any brothers that want to come down and join the school as a prospect must be a trooper in the school. Start wearing all black. That include boots, shirts, pants, headband, scarf. And I'll get with one of the officers about the exact count spot on the Sabbath Saturday. And with that, we'll get a courtesy salute to the teacher for an excellent class. I'm in Israel, Amazon Shabbat, Amazon, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Barakatam.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Barakatam.
Any sisters on the line? Those sisters on the line with that, we're going to dismiss this class.
Shalom.
Shalom.